So this video, I'm going to go over the order of operation, and I'm going to work on a few examples step by step. So order of operation is simplifying expression in the order in which I have written down here. The order of operation in an acronym, I remember it as PEMDAS, and they stand for P is for parentheses, E is for the exponent, M is for multiplications, D is for division, additions, and subtraction. So we're going to go through each expression in that order. Okay, so let's start with a problem. Let's say we have an expression of 1, 2 plus 5 minus 2 plus 4 squared. So again, we go by this order: P, E, M, D, A, S. So first we look for the P, which is their parentheses, and we see in parentheses here. We're going to work on that first, and the rest will stay the same. 2 plus, within the parentheses we have a 5 minus 2, which is 3. Everything else will stay the same. So that is done. Next, the exponent, and we see one exponent over here, so we'll work on that. Everything else stays the same. Since there's only one number inside the parentheses, we can eliminate the parentheses. So 2 plus 3 plus, so 4 squared is the same thing as 4 times 4, which is 16. So here we have 16. That's it, and the exponent is done. Now multiplication, and there is no multiplication in this expression, so you can skip that. And there's also no division, and there is addition, and they're all addition, and we will perform the addition from left to right. So 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 16. More addition, 5 plus 16 is 21. That's done. And subtraction, there is no subtraction, so we're done. And the answer is 21. Number 2. Again, we're going to follow the same order, PEMDAS. Here we have a bunch of fraction, so we can check off parentheses because there is no parentheses, there is no exponent, there is multiplication, multiplication here between these two. So that's what we're gonna do first. So in multiplication, you just multiply the numerator to the numerator. So that's 3 times 1 is 3 over denominator is 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 2/3. So multiplication is done. There is no division. Yes, addition. So in addition here, we have to find common denominator. So the closest common denominator would be 24. So your common denominator is 24. So for 8 to get 24, multiply by 3 to the denominator and multiply by 3 to the numerator. For the 3, we multiply by 8 to the denominator and multiply by 8 to the numerator. So over here, 3 times 3 is 9. And 2 times 8 is 16. Since the denominator is the same, we can combine the two fractions into one, adding the numerator. 9 plus 16 is 25. The addition is complete. There is no subtraction, and we are done. And 25 over 24 cannot be simplified, therefore that will be our answer. Number 3. Again, we are going to follow this order, PEMDAS. So in this problem, there is parentheses. There's parentheses here, and we will start there. 2, everything else stays the same. Plus 2. So 8 minus 3 is 5. And within the bracket, again, bracket is considered a type of parentheses. Here I'm going to work on another PEMDAS within the bracket. So in the bracket, here, we have parentheses. So this parentheses with the 2 next to it, this means it's a multiplication step. Whenever a number is next to a parentheses, it means we are going to multiply this to number. So everything else stays the same. So positive 2 times 5 is positive 10. So the parentheses is done within the bracket. There is no exponent, there is no multiplication, there is no division, there is addition. So 2 bracket 5 plus 10 is 15. So addition is complete. There is no subtraction. So within the bracket, the order operation is complete. Now we're going back outside of the bracket. So previously this was complete because we did what's in here. There is no exponent. There is a multiplication because anything, like I said earlier, when a number is next to a parentheses, it means multiplication. I also mentioned that bracket is considered the same as parentheses. So when it's next to a bracket or a parentheses, the number will multiply. So 2 times 15 is 30. Multiplication is complete. There's no division, there is no addition, and there's no subtraction. So the answer is 30. So 6 plus absolute value of 8 minus 2 plus 3 squared all over 18 minus 3. So since this expression is a big fraction, we will work on 2 PEMDAS, one for the numerator and one for the denominator. So for the top PEMDAS, bottom PEMDAS. For the top, we're going to look at the absolute value as part of a parentheses because we're going to simplify what's inside the absolute value first. 6 plus the absolute value of 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2 is 6 plus 3 squared a quick example for absolute value. Absolute value makes any number inside the absolute value positive. So if you have a negative 5 inside absolute value, that equals to 5. If you have an absolute value of 5, which is also 5, it really doesn't do anything to a positive number. All it does is make everything inside positive. So pick a random number. Absolute value of 105 is 105. Absolute value of negative 105 is 105. Again, the only function for absolute value is making the number positive. So, go back to our problem here. So the top, we did the parentheses, which is the absolute value. Next is the exponent, and we have an exponent here. You can do the denominator at the same time. 18 minus 3, there is no parentheses, there is no exponent, there is no multiplication, and there is no division. There's no addition. So at the top, we do have exponent, so we leave everything else the same. And we can say that the absolute value of 6 is 6, as we showed in the example earlier. And 3 squared, 3 to the power 2, is the same thing as 3 times 3, which is 9. Okay, we did exponent here on the top. There is no multiplication. There is no division at the top. So the bottom, there is subtraction. So we have 18 minus 3 is 15. At the top we have addition from left to right, so that 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 9 is 21. So we have 12 plus 9 over 15. 12 plus 9 is 21 over 15. So that's done. And there is no subtraction at the top. We did subtraction at the bottom. And in this case, this fraction we can simplify further, because there is a common factor between 21 and 15. 21 can multiply 3 times 7. The factor for 15 is 3 times 5, where you have a common factor of 3. Simplifying that, you will have 7 over 5. And that is your answer. And last one, 2 plus 3 is 10. 4 times 5 minus 16 minus 30, close bracket. Okay. Again, PEMDAS. So we're going to start with parentheses, and we have parentheses here, we have parentheses here, and we have a bracket which it has its own PEMDAS. Let's underline this yellow and PEMDAS underline green. Remember, we are solving from the inside out, so we're gonna work with the parentheses within the bracket first. 2 plus 3 bracket 10 parentheses. So within the parentheses there is no parentheses, so that's done. There is no exponent. There is multiplication, which is 4 times 5, that's 20, minus 16. Okay, we did multiplication. Again, still working on this. There is no division. There is no addition. There is subtraction, which is 20 minus 16, that gives 4. Now we are working on here, the bracket. So everything else will stay the same. Inside the bracket, do we have a parentheses? Yes. There's a 4, but the parentheses has only one number, and there is a 10 to the right. This means, like I said earlier, means 10 times 4. That gives me, so there is no more parentheses. There is parentheses. There is no exponents. Multiplication, because of the parentheses, that means multiplication. So 10 times 4 is 40 minus 30. So multiplication is done. There is no division. There is no addition. There is subtraction. So 2 plus 3. That's 40 minus 30 is 10. That's done. So now we have another PEMDAS. In this PEMDAS, there is a parentheses, but the parentheses only have one number, and there's a number next to the parentheses, which mean, or bracket. Again, bracket and parentheses are the same. So any number next to a bracket or a parentheses means that the number will multiply into the number inside the parentheses or bracket. So the parentheses is done, is no exponent. Multiplication, there's a number next to the bracket, means multiplication, multiplying the number inside the bracket. So 2 plus 3 is positive, so positive 3 times 10 is 30. Multiplication is done. There is no division. There is addition. So 2 plus 30 is 32. Addition is done. There is no subtraction. So the answer is 32. That's it. If you have any question or comment, please leave them below. Thank you for watching.